Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is Agree or Disagree. It is our weekly debate show where myself, Joe Smith, who's there with his little blackboard, yeah, Chelsea, who's here with her whiteboard.
Yes.
Yeah, and also Lauren is here with her whiteboard as well, where we have statements and topics where we say whether we agree with that statement or we disagree, and we ask you to get involved in the chat and the comments because it is live. Make sure as well, if you're not doing already, you are hitting that like button and share and subscribe. How are we all doing? Are we all happy after the 7-0
thrashing
barnstorming victory over the mighty Barnsley?
Barcelona.
Yeah, nice.
Odegaard's got injured as well today.
Again?
Yeah, well, he's had the length of his injury confirmed by Arteta. We're looking at many weeks.
Many weeks.
Yeah,
Lovely.
Ankle ligament damage. I mean, I don't want to celebrate anyone's injury, and I won't do, but maybe the gap has opened for United to finish second this year.
I don't want this to happen now.
Well, I haven't finished yet. Also, City are desperation mode, we know that. You sign Ilkay Gundogan, a 32-year-old, you let go.
You won't have this, will you? You will not have the Gundogan signing.
I think it's a good signing.
It's really good.
It's a sign that Pep Guardiola's leaving,
right?
And it's a sign that they've gone backwards. He's never signed anyone over the age of 30 in an outfield position since he joined Man City, and all of a sudden he gets a player back from Barcelona.
So you're doubling down.
They're finished as well now.
Right.
So City are finished, Arsenal are finished. Oh, what's that? Liverpool just lost at the weekend. They're finished.
Right.
Ipso facto.
United are going to win the league.
I'm not saying they're going to win the league.
Right. Okay.
I'm saying they already have.
Right. All right. Well, Joe's saying United are going to win the league this season. That's a quick one.
All right. Well, what have you got on your list then? Get to your list then, Mr. Naysayer. Isn't it weird that you've all got disagree written on your boards?
Ready.
I've got agree because I'm a likeable, friendly, agreeable person.
Right.
Sorry.
I hope you're right, but I'd say no. I mean, I'm not that guy anyway about injuries. Although secretly we are a bit like, but when Arsenal players get injured, I'm not like yes, because I think I'm almost already at the stage of Arsenal winning the league would be less egregious than City. Yeah. So, is it just like another title for Manchester City? I don't know. I already feel like that anyway. Let's get into some of these statements. Make sure you are joining in as well. Right. If you don't know how this works, the premise is so simple, even I can understand it. I make a statement, and then everyone holds up the board saying whether they agree or disagree with it. And you guys get involved in the chat and also explain the reasoning behind your decision. So the first statement, Alejandro Garnacho, who's just got a brace and 2 assists or whatever it was as well. Yes. He was an absolute gem of a footballer. Should start for Manchester United. When I say he should start, I mean, I don't mean to about Barnsley. I mean, the big games, the Premier League, the bread and butter games, Alejandro Garnacho should start for United.
Oh my God.
Oh, here we go again.
Here we go. It begins.
It has started already.
Yeah.
So me and Joseph disagree.
Yeah, I
so
disagree.
Lauren, you can explain why you hate Amad Diallo.
No. Every week.
Personal victim.
What is it about Amad Diallo and Marcus Rashford that you don't like? No, go on. Why do you think Garnacho has to start for Manchester United? Because let's be honest, that is probably the obvious rational decision. He starts most games. He started loads of games last season. This season he's been on fire. He's one of the brightest stars to come through the academy in the last 10 years. What is it that you like about him?
I think for me, his work ethic, his pace. I think he's just a bright spark down the wing that we need, and he can ping a ball in. And I just think something can always happen when he's on the pitch.
Yeah.
Like something always looks like it's about to happen. Whereas with other players, I don't feel like that's the case. Whereas Garnacho, I always feel like if he's got the ball, there's potential there. And something could come of it.
Yeah.
So I just feel really confident with him on the pitch. And I worry that if we continue to play him off the bench, he might become a bit sick of that.
Right.
And his morale might lower and he might look somewhere else.
Okay. That is reasonable. There's a poll going on. At the moment, we've asked the question, or we've made the statement, Garnacho should start for United. 54% disagree. So it's almost 50-50. It's quite a close one. Joseph.
Yeah. I disagree. I think we stick with what we're doing.
So if it's sticking what we're doing, for anyone who's not sure and isn't it's not obvious to them, what we're doing?
Ahmad, Rashford, striker.
Okay.
And Garnacho isn't a striker. I like him. I think he's great. I think he will start many games this season. But I think what Ahmad brings is more control than Garnacho does. I think in Rashford, you've already got one player who is knock it, touch it, smack it, as their kind of mentality. I think Garnacho has the same mentality or a similar one. And I think Ahmad is the only one where he gets the ball and he looks up and tries to find others out of those three wingers that we have, the main three wingers that we have. And I think you need a bit of that. I think we've seen the link up with him and Xerxes in that Southampton game, not necessarily between them, but the link up that they both provide to their teammates is invaluable in making chances. And I know we scored loads of goals with Garnacho on the pitch yesterday before Xerxes came on, etc. So it can happen. I just think that Garnacho is by far the best sub we've got of those three in terms of making an impact off the bench. He's the best one. And also, what is it? 4 goals, 3 assists he's got already this season, and he's only started 2 games. Great, let's keep doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should get rewarded for doing that, and eventually I'm sure he's going to start games, and he did start yesterday, but start Premier League games. But I just think it's sort of working. I think he's looked a little bit off the pace when he started games in the Premier League, to be honest, Garnacho, and maybe he needs to sort of build his way back up. But he's only a young player. I think he is going to start loads of games. But for now, stick with what we've got: Ahmad, Rashford, Xerxes.
I kind of agree with that. For me, and I will get to you in a minute, Chels, but the reason I agree with you, Joe, and I don't think Garnacho should start, is basically I've got sort of a red line with 3 players. For me, Marcus starts. I know he's not everyone's favourite, and it's not just based off what he did against Barnsley, but I would start Marcus Rashford. I'd start Xerxes. I would. I think you need a striker. I think you need a number 9. Even if he's someone who drops deep or whatever, or just out wide, you need a striker on the pitch. Yeah. And if you haven't got Xerxes, you're probably going to start Rasmus Højlund. And I'm sorry, I know it's like, people might go, he's flavour of the month, whatever, but Diallo has to start for me. He has to. I love Amad Diallo, and I think he's absolutely just a joy to watch. I think he causes so many problems. I know Garnacho does as well, but I just think Diallo's got the edge. So it's because of those 3 players having to start that I would go with those over Garnacho. And also, if you look at our best sort of players off the bench, you mentioned that. You look at City a couple of seasons ago when we won, and everyone got distracted with that Bruno Fernandes offside goal. People ignored the fact that Garnacho came on and for 20 minutes just absolutely destroyed him. It was unreal what he did to that defence. So for those reasons, I'd probably have Garnacho off the bench. You don't agree though?
I don't know. I'm not going to make myself sound hypocritical, because a few weeks ago I said that I think Rashford should be dropped, and I know he scored yesterday twice, and I'd want to see more of that. But for me, it's very, very close between Rashford and Garnacho. I think Ahmad needs to start. I completely agree with that. I think Ahmad is absolutely fantastic, and I think again we need the striker, whether it be Højlund or Xerxes when he's fit. But for me, I think Garnacho, with the pace and the energy and the effort that he's been putting in, I think he just edges it for me above Rashford.
Okay.
But that doesn't say that that won't change. But right now, I would say I'd start Garnacho still.
Do you have any concerns that you said about he might spit his dummy out, Garnacho, or be unhappy if he doesn't start? How do you think Marcus would react? Do you think you could lose Marcus if you drop him? Because he's 27. He's, I think, one of the highest paid players in the club, has had multiple seasons where he scored 20 plus goals, and is one of the biggest names, if not the biggest name, in terms of just recognisability, for want of a better word, at the club. And he's going to lose his spot to a 20-year-old. Do you think it's just a price worth paying?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Because I think
that's a great debate. That's the end of this show.
Yes.
Thanks. Make sure you join us next week.
I just think, Rashford's 27 now. Obviously, it's not really old these days. 27.
It's very young. Very young. A young man.
But I think that on the Rashford point, the main, not the main aim, but one of the main aims for Ten Hag and the management and Ruud van Nistelrooy and whatever, and his teammates and himself. But the main aim of United's front line is to get the best out of Rashford, isn't it? Like, he's the one who's proven that he can get you 20 goals multiple times, 30 goals once as well. We don't, like, Garnacho might never have a 30-goal season in his career. The same could be said for Xerxes and Højlund. We know Rashford can.
Yeah.
Like, to me, the aim of that front three is to get Rashford doing that again. Like, whereas the rest of them are potential and they could be great, and Garnacho could be Ronaldo 2.0. But in a dream world, the whole point is to get Rashford to be like the Rashford we know he can be. Everything else is guesswork and hope. He can do that. We know he can.
Yeah.
He's not showing it consistently.
No,
so
he's not. But he's
I...
never going to if he don't play. And I'm not saying you stick with him forever. If he has 2 years where he gets 13 goals across those 2 years, you might go, right, what do we do with this guy because it's not working? But I haven't given up the idea that he can be that player again. And all the rest of them were just sort of, what evidence do we have that Ahmad can get 30 goals or Garnacho can?
I said this in the summer, and I do think Rashford is under the microscope a bit. And if he was to have, say, a similar start to the season as what he ended last season, like, I think he'd be in trouble by Christmas. And I think the manager would have to make a decision then on, like, look, I've given you an opportunity now, you've not taken it. And with Garnacho right there, he'd come in, but I'm not there yet. I still think it's close, but I think it's Rashford over Garnacho. Get involved in the comments, because it could be Garnacho over Diallo. That's not the only thing. Ross Murphy says, we saw Garnacho against Liverpool, he didn't play well, Ahmad came on, and for me, he should have started, and Garnacho should be on the bench. I think that's what it should be currently. Moses Stanley says, play Garnacho and Ahmad. Rashford should be benched. Andy Moore says, has Ange got Michael Owen tattooed on her arm? There's several issues with that question.
Many problems here.
It's not Angelina Kelly, who I presume you're saying. It's Lauren. And I don't believe that is Michael Owen, is it?
It's not.
It's Edinson Cavani.
Yes, that's exactly who it is.
Elvis Presley.
It doesn't look like Michael Owen.
No, it doesn't.
As well, like, that doesn't to me look anything like Michael Owen. I agree, that's just a bit of a joke.
Very clearly.
To be fair, he has put laughing emojis, so it's a good one. Right, shall we move on then? We all agree that. Get the poll, by the way, 54%.
See what is great though, the fact that we've got 3 wingers at the minute, who any one of which could come in for the other one, and many fans would be happy because they're all playing well. That's brilliant. We didn't have that at any point last season. So I know it's only Southampton and Barnsley, so it's not like we've beat the cream of the crop here, but we gave up a 2-goal lead against Newport last season. We gave up a 3-goal lead against Coventry last season. So to think that beating Barnsley 7-0 just happens because any old shit would beat them, it doesn't, and we didn't. So things are a little bit different and better. So that's great that we've got 3 wingers here. You go, he can come in for him and him and him and him, and nothing changes. That's brilliant.
I feel like it's good for competition as well, because obviously with competition for those spots, it might push Rashford, Garnacho, Ahmad to play that little one step further, because they know that their place is up for grabs. So that can never be a bad thing. All
right, let's stick on the Marcus Rashford topic then. I was going to mix it up, but we're speaking about Marcus, speaking about Garnacho. Here's another one for you then. We'll stick on Marcus. Rashford will score 20 goals this season.
All comps.
All comps. I mean, he's never scored 20 Premier League goals in a season, so I think that'd be a big stretch. I'm going to,
Oh my God.
Wow.
We don't hate Rashford, I promise.
Yeah, please.
We really don't.
I want him to prove me wrong.
We want him to be good.
To score when he's not playing because you two.
Exactly why I said disagree.
Yeah.
What is your problem with him?
You could do
Seriously.
this.
What have you got against the kid?
A lot at the moment.
Get your list out.
It's the same again. I'll start with you this time, Chels. You don't think he will?
No, I don't.
Why not? He's already got 3.
Can I put in that you've made a bet about this as well?
I have actually made a bet. I have made a bet with.
Can I put in something?
You've kind of done it now.
No, you cannot.
I know.
Do not mention that. I don't want anyone to know.
It's out the bag.
Yeah, to be fair, I've made a bet with someone at work, and he's probably watching this now. So he thinks that he loves Rashford. Anything I say about Rashford that's like slightly slanderous, I'll get shit down the phone for it tomorrow.
Right.
I'm waiting for it. So I made a bet, only a tenner, but he thinks he will score 20 and I don't. So I made a bet about that today.
Okay.
Anyway, that's how confident I am.
Your whiteboard where your money, where your mouth is. Which I respect.
I mean, it's only a tenner, but
No,
only a tenner.
But no.
What?
Cost of living.
So you're saying no?
No, I'm saying no. Again, like what I said previously, it kind of links in with the last one. I think I'm chuffed to bits that he scored twice yesterday. I'm happy about that, and I want to see more of it. And I'm hoping that those 2 goals will up his confidence a little bit. But personally, for me, I don't know if I can't just base it off him playing against Barnsley and. If I see him in Southampton, if I see him scoring against like Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool, etc., then maybe I'll change my mind. But right now, I'm not basing it off him scoring against Barnsley and Southampton. One
thing we'll say, Marcus, right? I understand it. He can be erratic, and we saw it last season. He didn't have a great season. There's no point in pretending he did. But when he's on it, he does tend to go on these little scoring sprees. He's had when he was on it under Ole, he had 22 goals and 21 goals. When he was on it under Ten Hag, he had 30 goals. And he's one of those players who he can score in the big games, and also it's not just the smaller clubs he scores against. His record against against City and Liverpool, and the bigger clubs, I think Spurs, Chelsea. He's all really good. Arsenal. Some of these fixtures as well coming up because we're in the Europa. If he's playing Fenerbahce and Porto and Twente and POAK and Rangers,
I hope so.
there could be goals there for him.
Yeah.
So I get your point, and there's no point. If you'd have asked me this at the beginning of last season after he just drops a 30-goal season, and I said yeah, and he didn't. So I understand everything you've said. However, I still think that because of the signs we've seen so far, if he carries on, and because of a lot of fixtures we've got, and if he gets picked for those fixtures, I think there's goals there. Joseph, you're probably one of Marcus Rashford's biggest fans. You're confident he'll get 20 goals this season?
I think he will, yeah. Because, do you know why? Because do you know how shit he looks when he has a bad season? It's so obvious from the start of the year. Oh God, he's doing one of his bad years.
Yeah.
And whenever he doesn't have one of his bad years, he gets 20 goals.
Yeah.
It's clear that he's not in the same poor form as last season. He has improved. He has got not just like the goals going in, but he had another goal disallowed. He had a couple of assists that he should have had. Maybe Xerxes against Liverpool, Garnacho against Fulham as well. He looks like he's working harder. He looks happier. That's the main thing for me. He was laughing and smiling and joking and playing 1-2s with people yesterday. And again, it's only Barnsley, but we didn't do that against anyone last season. When Rashford's happy and he's going for it, he gets 20 goals.
Yeah.
When he's bad, and let's be honest, he was still our third top scorer in the league last season. So whilst he was terrible, he wasn't like everyone's better than him. It was Bruno, and I think he was equal with...
was it Rasmus and Bruno?
Or maybe Rasmus, him and McTominay were equal, and it was Rasmus and Bruno ahead of him. So when Rashford's on it, or even half on it, he gets you 17, 18, 20 goals. I think he will get 20 goals. Obviously, if there's injuries or he misses big chunks, then he might not. But when Rashford's at it, he scores more
and
than
also,
most wingers in Europe.
I'll go into some of the comments in a minute and to the poll as well. Can I say one thing? He should get 20 goals. If you're playing for Manchester United, you're Marcus Rashford. The ability he's got at 27 years old, the player he is, the games that we've got coming up, and this team, which is a decent team, you've got players like Bruno, like Xerxes, who will provide you with service. You should be getting a minimum of 20 goals in all competitions, because you'd like to play 50 games if he stays fit. And I think 20 goals is a decent return, and I expect him to do it.
Did you see that as well? He's the top scorer in the Carabao Cup since he made his debut for United. By about 5 goals. Yeah. So that goes to your point about Europa. And it's not the best competition, but every team in England's in the Carabao, and there's always plenty of good teams in
Didn't he score in every round when we won it?
I think he did.
Including the final.
He's definitely obviously scored in the final and many of the other rounds. If he can get 5 goals in the Europa, he's already got 2 in the Carabao, maybe another 3 in there, 2 or 3 in there. It's not that much to say he might get 10 Premier League goals, is it?
Chelsea's going to be fuming when he gets 17 goals in the Carabao and 2 in the league and 1 in the Europa just to get that 20 mark and cost you a tenner. Do you know what I mean? When he scores 9 goals against Fenerbahce, do you know what I mean? Because they've had 3 players sent off, you're going to be raging.
But also,
I've just thought about this. I don't know if this is true. I need to crunch.
While you're doing that, I'll read out a super chat and go into the poll. Neo Wolf says, "Love the constant variations on this channel. Tactical breakdowns are top notch, Joe. Someone get Joe a duster. The beautiful ladies are realists, and that's needed. So is the optimism the gentlemen bring." What a lovely comment there. Yeah, I know what's going on there. I'm not used to these nice comments. Andy as well, who called you and says I've lost the chat, but he said very sorry, Lauren. There you go, Andy Moore. The poll, by the way, we asked the question, or we said the statement, Rashford will score 20 goals in all comps this season. Agree 88%, disagree 12%, it's gone up to 13. I love this as well, because if he has a stinker against Crystal Palace, you watch that change. If he did this next week, I tell you what, that'll be flips on his head.
Everyone's on the Barnsley high, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Paul Lucas says 20 goals isn't really a big ask. It's weird 20 goals, because in a way it is a bit of a 20 goals. But when you scratch beneath the surface, you think you can get there without smashing it.
It's not a big ask.
Isn't really a big ask, yeah.
All right, name me 10 other wingers in the Premier League that get 20 goals every year.
No, but I think for Marcus, you should expect.
No, I think it is. But
I get the point.
It's a big ask. People downplay Rashford.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's doing that, and I know for Rashford it's not a huge ask because he's done it 3 times before. Yeah. But I do think that most wingers aren't getting 30 goals and assists a season, and when Rashford's getting 20 goals, 20 goals, 30 goals, and 7, 8, 9, 10 assists as well, That's better than most wingers in Europe.
Yeah.
There's a handful of players that do that every year.
Yeah.
Like, it is rare to have that's why he's on big money, because getting, 30 goals, 11 assists last season. It's Salah, Mbappe, and that's it, doing that.
Like, if you look at Grealish's numbers, most people think if you stop the average person in the street and said who's better, Marcus or Jack Grealish, they'd say Grealish.
Yeah.
I think there was more outrage at Grealish not going to the Euros than there was with Marcus Rashford. But you look at Grealish's numbers, they're not that great. They're nowhere near Marcus's. I think Marcus scored one more goals in that one season than Grealish has scored in about 10 put together, or 5 put together. So it's not like, you know, Marcus's numbers aren't impressive. They are.
Yeah.
It's just, I think there's that thing of boom or bust with him, where it's either a great season or it's an underwhelming one. There's a little touch of the. Sometimes you see that with players, certain players like Raheem Sterling had a bit like that, didn't he? Where when he was on it, and when he wasn't, he looked terrible.
Do you know those 2 terrible seasons that Rashford's had in the last 3 years?
Yes, the Ragnick one and the one last season.
Yeah, we were in the Champions League both times, and we weren't in the Champions League the times when he got 20+ goals.
There you go. You see.
What's that about? What's going on there?
Facts.
What's going on there?
Conspiracy theories,
Do you know
man.
what I mean?
His level.
His level. There you go.
Let's find his level.
Hey.
I'm not. Yeah, interesting. That.
Sorry, that was.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey.
Yeah, we were in it one
Seriously.
year when he got 20 goals, but the last 2 times he has.
How
we weren't.
confident are you that you'll be right?
Quietly.
Quietly
Really?
confident.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, we'll
I
see.
hope
We'll
he
revisit
proves me
this.
wrong.
Yeah, I really
hope
want
he
him to
proves
prove
me
me
Yeah,
wrong.
obviously you do.
Because
But
I'm
like-
not someone who'll sit and want bad for any
No.
of our players ever. Like, but I'll just sit here and be honest of what I feel.
I think
and
you're lying. I think when he scores now, you're going to be fuming.
Yeah, he's Rashford.
You're gonna be doing
no.
it.
I know.
Yeah.
Wasn't there that guy that used to go on live and he'd like go really angry when they scored?
There's loads of them.
Well, yeah,
Look, I
that's
saw
true.
a kid who took a
He
United
was
top
just
off and
a
had a
young
Liverpool
kid,
top
yeah.
underneath.
Why?
Yeah.
He cheered when Liverpool scored.
Why?
Put my foot through my phone. I was angry.
Why was your phone by your feet?
I just volleyed
Fair
it.
point.
You were in the bath, weren't you?
Yeah.
Your phone was leaning up on the
And
toilet.
then I
you had
made the
your foot on
mistake
it.
of getting involved on socials with the whole argument, and then he was posting pictures of himself when he was a child in the United top, saying, at this point I was like, oh, forget this.
Why
Anyway,
do I have to
let's move on. The next statement,
Come on then.
Mazraoui is United's best fullback.
Oh, you're cheeky, aren't you?
Not you. What's funny about that? That was a good topic.
He's good though.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
good, very good.
When he's fit, Luke
Very
Shaw's
good
better.
player.
Come on.
That's the issue I've
Luke
got.
Shaw's better.
That's the issue. When he's fit, Luke Shaw for me is our best fullback.
Yeah, 100%.
Even though I love Mazraoui and he's done well, and I like Delo.
I loved it.
But I think the issue, as we all know, excuse me, I'll mute that, is that Luke Shaw is seldom fit at the minute, if we're being brutally honest.
Barely ever.
Which is a concern. You do have slight concerns over Mazraoui's injury records, don't you?
Yeah,
Which is what you were pointing out to me. This is why we got him at a bargain.
Yeah, I think he missed something like 28 games through injury in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Something in that ballpark, which is too many. But if he can stay fit at the right times, if the thing with injuries is, it's not that you don't have injuries, because everyone has injuries, it's that they sort of Venn diagram each other, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So you've always got 2 of Dalot, Mazraoui and Shaw fit, you'll probably be all right. If you've always got 1 of Xerxes or Højlund fit, you'll probably be all right. If you've always got 2 of Yoro, Maguire, De Ligt, Martinez fit, you'll probably be all right. Problem was last year we had all of our left backs injured, all of our centre backs injured. Like we only had 1 striker. When he got injured, everything, all hell broke loose. So if injuries are fine, but don't just decimate an entire area.
Yeah.
So if Mazraoui misses 12 games through injury this season, fine, as long as Luke Shaw and Dalot are fit for them.
But we can't.
But you can't
Guarantee.
predict
No, we can't
that.
guarantee that.
obviously.
It made me laugh last night when it was like Barnsley obviously had this tactic, didn't they? We're going to target Collier. Like he's the weak link there.
Yeah.
This kid who's not even a left back player. Let's target him, and they tried that, and for about 10 minutes, it's sort of a little bit of joy, and then it just didn't work. And they didn't have a plan B, and that was the end of that, wasn't it? And I thought Collier did quite well, especially when he moved into his favourite position as well. No, I think a lot of people agree. It's the same thing. Sajibral Adam says, or Sajibral Adam. I don't know why I said it like that. Luke Shaw is when fit. Feral Pleasure says not of all time. Who's the greatest fullback United have ever had? And why is it Dennis Irwin?
I didn't see enough of Irwin because he retired when I was 7.
Oh, typical YouTuber.
Or 8,
too
whatever it
young
was.
to watch
2000, was 2001 he left?
Something like that, yeah.
I was 3.
I was 8.
Just terrible excuses.
The best, Gary Neville's the best fullback I've seen at United.
Interesting. What about you?
Yeah.
I think I'd go with Neville because of what I've seen and what I've
I agree.
experienced.
Yeah, but in terms of natural ability, Luke Shaw's up there.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
listen.
When
it's
the
just-
way like just controls the ball and is always a good outlet. But I think Mazraoui, we've all said disagree. I think it's worth saying he's been better than I thought he'd be, and I was excited.
100%,
He's been
yeah.
brilliant.
Massive.
Yeah, I've enjoyed watching him.
Yeah.
100%.
I still think we're all being very, very kind on Luke Shaw that, you know, when he's fit, he's mint and all that, but he still has some games when he's fit that he ain't just quite switched on.
No, but anyone can have an off day. Like, as long as it's not, you're not consistently in and out of performance levels.
I think
On the whole,
under Ten Hag he's been better. I think under Ole there was a bit of that.
The 5-0 against Liverpool
Was the worst performance I've ever seen by a fullback
He
at
stopped
United.
being a footballer.
Yeah.
It was
Honestly,
a rancid
he was at fault for 3 goals, I
performance,
think.
that. Yeah.
It was, and he was the only saving grace was the rest of his teammates were terrible as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that performance rattled me. It really did. But to be fair, he's come back. It's just annoying the whole Euros and fitness and everything that went with that.
I feel like you can't disregard Dallo as well, because I mean I've made it quite obvious and quite clear that I think Dallo, I think you couldn't ask for much more from Dallo, and I think obviously when I see Mazraoui play more, I think maybe, you know, it might prove me wrong and that he is a better player, but I think on the whole you can't say right now that he's the best.
I feel
fullback.
sorry for Dallo as well, because he had a difficult one against Southampton, but he isn't a left back.
No.
And it's like, it's just,
Out of
like,
position.
oh, well, he's a right back, but that's not how it works. If you're a right back, you're a right back.
Not
You're not
yeah,
necessarily.
100%.
You're not left
you're not
footed.
No.
Moving over, he just does it because he has to.
Yeah, and he gets on with it, to be fair. Like,
and it's
doesn't
not always that
complain.
easy, is it? When you've got players like who are running at you, they get the wrong side or whatever. It's difficult, and obviously just playing out from the back like we're trying to do when you know you're getting forced onto your weak foot sometimes as well.
Everything's flipped, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I said to you now, write an essay, but you have to start on the right hand side of the page and go left.
Yeah.
You'd probably be able to do it, but
We'd
it wouldn't feel comfortable, would it? And you'd make mistakes, and it wouldn't be just.
What's the essay on?
What?
What's the essay on? What's it on? What's the topic?
Sorry.
What's the topic of what? The essay.
essay.
You say write an essay. What on what?
What are you
I
going
didn't
to
say
say?
that.
What did you say?
Someone else said that. It's on the breading procedure of a Scotch egg.
Oh no, I'm sorry, no.
Wow.
So my essays on that are shocking.
Even right
Even right way around, honestly. D minuses all the time. Reece says too much pressure on Rashford. When someone like Luis Diaz at Liverpool scores 8 or 9 goals a season, it's wow, shrewd from Scousers, but Rashford's a bum.
This
Commentator cursed with Luis.
I said he was crap and then he scored twice against
Yeah.
us. But every other winger doesn't get 20 goals, 30 goals a season. It doesn't happen.
No.
Genuinely, look, I've done this. Have a look how many wingers in the last 7 years have had 30 goal seasons at the top level. It is so few.
My pressure towards Rashford, though, isn't to do with other wingers. Mine's because we know what he can do, and then it's annoying watching.
That's fair enough.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Because I
Not
get
play how we know he can.
Marcus, isn't it? It's for me anyway. It's not that he's a bad footballer.
No.
You can question whether, for example, I don't know. I'm trying to think. There was always a debate going on, wasn't there, with McTominay whether he was good enough.
Yeah.
Is McTominay talented enough to start for Manchester United week in, week out? That was the debate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Some people thought he was, some people thought he wasn't. The manager obviously eventually thought he wasn't. That wasn't really the debate with Marcus. It's why can't he do it consistently? You don't score 8 career goals against Liverpool, whatever it is, and 9 goals against City, or those kind of numbers.
Yeah.
If you haven't got it in you. That goal we saw at the Etihad, he scores an absolute worldie that only a few players on the planet could do. And then the criticism of him is his general play isn't great. So, yeah, I understand that. I do get it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Super Arts in the Super Chat says, Shaw has been mid for me when fit. He only plays well for England and so for United. He has moments. Mid. Everyone loves that word, don't they?
Mid.
Yeah.
Should we sneak in one last final one?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, the poll, forgive me. Mazraoui is United's best fullback. Agree 57%, disagree 43%.
Nice. He's making a good impact again.
He
That's
is.
good.
I like
That's
that.
good, yeah. Hopefully he can carry on.
Yeah, definitely. Right, the last one.
Ooh.
Man United will win a trophy.
When?
What?
Can you pick that up?
Struggling.
Man United will win a trophy this season?
This season, yeah.
Or ever again?
No, do you know what? I'm going to change it. Sorry, Ethan, I'm going to annoy you. Forget that.
Oh.
Right, because I'm going to rephrase it. United will get Champions League football this season. Sorry, Ethan, producer Ethan there.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah, well done, everyone. Well done.
agreed.
And if it isn't
Collectively
100% in the comments, life isn't worth living.
You're all right.
This is what
Get a
being a
grip.
football fan is.
Grow up.
We're 4 games into the season, 5 games in, we've lost 2 of them.
Yeah.
And we still think we're going to get Champions League
course
football.
we are.
That's why we're fans. That's the whole point. You can't give up on the
Hope and
season
delusion.
already.
He's always there.
We're in our delusional bubble again.
Brilliant. You got
Love
to.
that. Okay, Lauren, we'll start with you. How are we getting Champions League football? How does it work? What's the context of us achieving that goal this season?
I think once we've got our players,
Yeah.
like the new signs and everything, all embedded properly
Yeah.
into a team, I think we can easily do it. We've got the players to do it now. And the likes of, like Villa were up there. Well, how long are they going to stay up there?
Yeah.
Year in, year out. Spurs, under Ange, just...
Overrated.
Exactly. So,
Massively overrated.
these options for us to sneak ahead of...
So you think via the league,
Yeah.
top 4,
Yeah.
we'll do it. Joseph?
Yeah, I think we'll get
The
top
league?
4. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know, the weird thing with United is obviously we haven't had a great start, so I'm
Yeah.
not going to act like
Do we ever, though?
True.
barely. But like when we're bad, we're terrible.
Yeah.
And when we're not terrible, we get top 4.
Yeah.
Like our team
Exactly.
is good enough to comfortably get top 4. We could even finish above Liverpool. I don't think we will, but I think we have as good a squad as Liverpool does.
Yeah.
There's certain areas where they're just 10 out of 10, like Salah, unfortunately. I think Alisson is a 10 out of 10 player. And we don't have that quite sort of peak that they do in terms of getting goals and stuff. But if we don't have a disastrous season, we'll probably finish 4th or 3rd. Like do you remember when we almost got 4th and we didn't? But weren't we like 7th and we'd sacked the manager before that?
Yeah.
Like under Ole, when he first came in, we didn't quite get 4th, did we? But like otherwise we do. So unless Ten Hag gets sacked, which could happen, but I think if we keep playing how we have done for most of the games this season, and we get a bit of momentum and a bit of confidence, God forbid we actually have some confidence in the squad that lasts for more than 30 minutes, we'll comfortably get top 4. How easy was it to get top 4 in that first season? We got top 4 and a trophy, and it was never close. There was about 4 games at the end of the season where you thought, will Liverpool catch us? Oh no, they won't.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Like, unless we have a disaster, we finish top 4. And I don't think it's going to be a disaster this season. I think we'll get it. I think we'll be fine.
Fair enough. Chels, what do you reckon? Is that your thoughts? Do you think it'll be comfortable?
Yeah.
Top 4? Anyone going for Europa by the back door?
We'll do both.
I mean,
Both?
yeah,
Oh,
why not?
okay.
Win it and get top 4. No,
Yeah.
To be honest with you, the only team that I think we have a good enough squad, especially with, like Lauren said, everyone embedding, and then we've got players coming back from injury, which will give us a lot more squad depth. I think we're more than capable of doing it. I think the only team that probably will definitely finish ahead of us is probably City, and that's probably what I've come to accept now.
Oh, here we go.
Love that. Love that you just said that. Sorry, if Arsenal just get an average team's worth of injuries for once in their lives,
Yeah.
for the last 2 years they've had Timber injured, who didn't even count because he was a new signing, so we didn't lose him, they just didn't gain him. And other than that, no one's been injured for 2 years. How the fuck is that possible, by the way? Saliba missed 2 months and they bottled it, and Timber was injured, and that's it. Thomas Partey, who's in and out of the team at best anyway, he gets injured occasionally. Saka, Saliba, Gabriel, the goalie, whoever they decide that is week by week, Zinchenko.
Yeah.
No one gets injured for him.
No.
Well, maybe this year
What's
is
going
the year.
on?
I know.
And now finally you've got a couple of
Due an
injuries.
injury.
Well,
Yeah,
so
they
I
are
mean,
due an
I
injury.
don't-
United are due less injuries.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fewer.
Yeah, so that's maybe it's. I just don't think any of the other teams are on paper big, like more good enough, better than us. You know what I'm trying to say?
Better than us.
Yeah.
You can throw in a more than if you want.
More, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
don't think
Gotta get that word count up.
writing the essays.
Not the essay.
No, like on paper are that much better than us. That's what I was trying to say. That they will definitely keep us out of the top 4. I'm not saying we'll 100% comfortably get it, but because there are teams like Villa and you don't know how Tottenham and Chelsea are going to play this year, but I think we're more than capable of getting top 4 with that squad, with the injuries coming back, as well as that. Again, Europa. Who says we can't win the Europa League? We've won, we've won the FA Cup, we've won the Carabao Cup under Ten Hag. Maybe this year is the Europa League year.
Yeah, I think we can win Europa. I actually think we're at least the 4th best team in the
must be.
country. I don't rate Tottenham. I think Ange's a fraud. And I think that Chelsea are just Chelsea. They'll all end up falling out of each other or buy another 20 players in January, and it'll just be a crisis. So, Newcastle, I don't think so. I think with Villa, I think them being in the Champions League might
tire them out.
Hurt them, because they started off on the right foot. But I think that could do for him. So I think we could be on for. I'd love that top 4 of the Europa League. That'd be the best season we've ever had. Neo Wolf says, I take back my comment that the ladies are realists, but I understand what is the use of being a fan if you can't be romantically optimistic. Neo Wolf also says, Lauren/Ange with the perfect comment about Rashford. He's capable of so much more, but sometimes just seems like he goes into a shell. Super Art says, there is not enough time to practice after summer duties and transfer window. We have to wing it in the first 4 to 5 games. No unity yet. Just on that last question as well, the poll said United will qualify for Champions League football this season. Agree, 85%.
Yes. Well done, everyone.
15%. I love it. That 7-0 against Barnsley's got a lot to answer for.
I've gone mad. I watched it all back today before we came in. I've lost my head.
That's it. I think 21 is coming off the back of that, to be honest with you.
Definitely.
We're going to go through the final results then. We had quite a few statements there during agree or disagree. Garnacho starts. There was a split. I think it was 50-50. And then there was this chat. The chat as well was 53%, so that was quite split that agreed with it. Rashford will get 20 goals. Again, there was a split in the studio. 87% of the chat agreed. Mazraoui is the best fullback. All of us disagreed with that.
United.
Everyone at United, everyone thought it was Luke Shaw, and the chat, it was 57% agreed that he is the best, 43% said he isn't, obviously. United will get Champions League football. We all agreed with it, and 85% of the chat agreed, which just shows you that the majority of United fans just don't learn, do we?
No.
We just don't learn.
2 wins in a row, baby.
It's the hope that
batter
kills
Barnsley, and then that is it.
Against basically a Championship team and a League One team.
Yeah, and that's it. We're going to win.
Winning it all.
We're not just going to get Champions League. We're going to win a European trophy, I think was the general consensus. And we're just going to smash everyone.
FA Cup, Carabao Cup, top 4.
Treble.
Treble. We're winning it all. Quadruple, we're winning it all.
Yeah.
Yes.
You heard it here first.
Declan Laird says, Jay, we will get 2 trophies this season. That's the spirit.
Yes.
Love
I
all
like
that.
it.
Lauren, always a pleasure. Thanks for coming on the channel.
Thank you for having me again.
Chels is saying to you as well.
Thank you.
Joseph, me and you are going to be back later on, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll be back tonight.
Yeah.
Paddock live.
So you know where to find everyone on the socials. Go and check him out. Make sure if you're not doing as well, you are subscribing to the channel. This has been Agree or Disagree. That's been Joe Smith. That's been Chels. That's been Lauren. I'm Jay Moy. Thanks for watching.